Black woman. Beautiful, powerful, resilient female of African descent with skin kissed by the sun. Conversation. A talk, especially an informal one between two or more people in which news and ideas are exchanged. We love being Black women. Black women are ambitious. Black women are confident. Black women are diligent. We are tenacious. We walk out of our houses put together. We are many shades and personalities of fabulous. But we as Black women don't talk about our dilemmas, current events, and what's going on every day that affects us. So we created this podcast as a way to laugh together, cry together, and have an open conversation about life as Black women.
Oh, that's deep. Black Women Conversations.
Hey, Nicole, how's your week been?
It's been awesome. How's your week been?
Actually, it's been great. Yeah, so I've been seeing these videos on social media where people still are not social distancing.
Yeah,
we are
I've
now
seen them too.
Over halfway through the year, and I'm feeling like we're not going to get out of quarantine until 2022 at this point. Like, let's be honest.
Well, it's funny. I was talking to one of my coworkers, and he was saying the next 6 months will make or break the history of the U.S. for good. And we were like, is this how we're all going out? Because this pandemic does not look like it's going to end anytime soon. And he said, you know, if Trump gets reelected, he's moving back to Greece so that he can spend the rest of his days there, because he is fed up with the things in the U.S. and how things are playing out and people's nonchalant attitudes.
I agree. Can we move back to Greece with him, or move to Greece?
I guess we'd be
with him?
moving to Greece. I've never been to Greece.
I mean, at this point, anything is better than where we are right now, especially if Trump gets reelected. I mean, that's just my personal opinion.
Right. I'd take just going to Gatlinburg at this point. Anywhere I can just travel. I just want to travel. I just want to travel again. Can we all stay home so then we can go travel?
Right.
Just saying.
How about this, guys? If we all do what we're supposed to do right now, then we can all be here to do what we'd like to do later. It's just temporary. And hey, guess what? It wouldn't take so long if everyone just get on board with us, please. Wear a mask, stay at home if you don't need to go out. End of story. Don't cough on anyone. Wash your hands. You know, the things that they teach us in kindergarten.
Well, everybody did not wash their hands even in kindergarten. Let's be real.
You're right.
I remember some people were stanky in kindergarten and in elementary school. So, you know, you had those people in your class that have that little older.
We did. And we know that we still have those same people, those same stanky 5-year-olds grow up to be stanky 55-year-olds. So let's be honest. Can we all just wash our hands, please? That just would be helpful. That's all I'm asking.
What's on your timeline?
Okay, so here's my thing. I have this thing about the Kardashian family, right? I get it. They're moguls. It's great. They're amazing marketers. It's kind of a thing for me because I'm in marketing. Amazing. However, I have been on probably for the past decade, Kardashian overload. But they've creeped into my timeline. And let me be very clear. I do not follow any of the Kardashians. However, this is the power of their marketing, right? No matter whether I follow them or not, somehow I still get the information because they've managed to bombard my timeline. We're going to go for it, okay? So this actually isn't even a Kardashian. This is a Jenner, but it has to do with the Kardashian family, which I vowed not to ever talk about them. But this is why you don't make definitive vows, because you don't know if you're going to break them. So here goes. You got to stick with me on this one because it's a little complicated. So Kylie Jenner and Jordyn Woods were best friends, right? And we would know Jordyn Woods because she had a falling out with her best friend Kylie. Jordyn supposedly kissed her best friend's sister's boyfriend. It sounds a little complicated, but it was a kiss. We will move on. Well, here we go again. They are back in the headlines because now Kylie, who is no longer best friends with Jordyn, but you know, they were friends at a time, very close friends. At some point, Jordyn was living in Kylie's home, right? But now Kylie is seeming to be, based on recent social media posts, in a relationship or some sort of, I don't even want to say it's sexual because while it appears that it could be sexual, we're not clear about that. But we are clear that they are hanging out and being super friendly together. So Kylie is now being super friendly with Jordyn, her former best friend's ex. Like I said, I've already said way too much about the Kardashians that I, thought I would ever say. But let me be clear. This is super I don't want to use the word entangled, but I think it fits right here, right? So it's super entangled because Kylie Jenner, best friends with Jordan. Jordan kissed Kylie's older sister, Khloe's baby's dad, right? However, Kylie's ex, Tyga, is the baby's dad of her brother's ex-girlfriend. So there's a lot of mixing and mingling going on over here. But we are not 100% sure that Kylie is with Jordan's ex, but it sure does seem that way because they're pretty cozy on social media.
So let's uncomplicate this somewhat complicated situation, because to me it's not that complicated. So if Kylie and Jordan were still best friends, then it would be an issue. For me, in my opinion, it would be an issue. But they are not. They are not friends anymore. They had a falling out because of the situation with Khloe and Tristan. So for me, if you're not friends anymore, then me dating your ex shouldn't be a problem, because you shouldn't be approaching me anyway, because we're not friends.
Okay, but here's the thing. The reason why they're not friends is for the exact same reason. So if Jordan had never kissed Tristan, would they still be friends? What's good for the goose, not good for the gander? Help me understand.
But it's Jordan's ex that Kylie is dating. I'm confused. So Tristan,
on again, off again boyfriend with Khloe, though. Let's make that clear. So at the time when they supposedly kissed, they were off again. So it was technically the ex.
That was that woman's baby daddy. You had no business going over there to his party, period. You shouldn't have done that. She was wrong for doing that. But let's be real, Tristan was wrong. So she should have checked her baby daddy and not this friend of her sister's. Listen, I just don't agree with that. I think there's something to be said about, hey, I think y'all are both inappropriate, but I feel like Tristan sort of got a pass there, which I don't agree with. If you're going to say something to her, you got to say something to both. And now this girl has lost, basically, business opportunities from this situation. Not saying that she needed them. I mean, her family is loaded as well. But she has lost some stake in opportunities that she was pursuing and supporting with the Jenners. This situation is much different for me. And this situation is different for me because Kylie is the person dating Jordan's ex. Kylie is not dating Jordan's sister's ex. Kylie's dating Jordan's ex. It would be a problem if they were still friends. I don't think it's a problem at all because they are not friends.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
Like back and forth, like, oh, well, the reason they're not friends is because of another man. Okay, I get it. Men break up a lot of friendships. They don't realize that, but they do break up a lot of relationships in terms of girlfriend relationships. This situation is not that. They are not friends. If you're not friends, then guess what? Those people that used to be off limits for me are not on limits. I can pursue them. I can date them. I can do whatever I want to do with them because we are not friends. Unless there's a situation where you think you will eventually become friends again, like that relationship can be improved upon in some form or fashion. Unless that's the case, if you guys have both moved on, if the families and the sisters still have disdain for her, like they're not going to be friends like they were before. So they're not friends. So it's not like, oh, she's dating her friend's ex. No, she's dating somebody random's ex now.
Okay, so Nicole, let's talk about that though. Let's talk through this. It's not like she's dating her friend's ex is what you're saying, right? So is it okay to date your friend's ex? Let's talk through that.
No, I don't think it's okay to date your friend's ex, but talking through your scenario of Kylie and Jordan specifically, they're not friends. And so that's why it's okay. I can give you, let's talk through a specific scenario that has happened to me.
Okay, I want to hear it.
So I personally have a friend who was in my wedding, who approached me when I was engaged and asked, hey, are you okay with me dating your ex-boyfriend? And initially I paused, like, which ex-boyfriend? She told me who it was. And I said, that's completely up to you. I said, I'm not going to make that decision for you. You can do what you want to do. I don't have any feelings towards him, but I'm surprised that you want to date my ex. And she proceeded to say, well, I didn't think you guys were that serious. I said, well, if you don't think 2 years of a relationship and me meeting his whole family and him evacuating for hurricanes to my house with my family is not that serious, then okay. But I think that it's going to be strange if, we're going in public and we're double dating. I think that would be awkward for not only me, but for my husband. And, but you can do what you want to do. I don't have feelings for him. I am not someone to block love. And she went on to say, well, if we happen to get married, would you be in the wedding? Would you feel comfortable being in the wedding?
You've got to be kidding me.
No. What would you do, Janine? What would you say?
And this is my friend my friend that's close enough that's in my wedding.
This is one of my
This is literally happened to you.
Yes.
Yikes, Nicole. Let me just say that you are a much better person than me because
we're not friends anymore.
well,
but not because of that. But yeah, we're not friends anymore.
So I'm questioning this because I don't know that I would have been able to get through the conversation of I date your ex? Because it's like black girl code. Like if I have been with, liked, even looked at twice, they're off limits to you. If I've made mention about someone to you, that means that person is now off limits. Point blank, period.
So you mean even mentioning? So even if the relationship wasn't serious, for you, anybody your friends have been intertwined with is off limits.
That's the black girl standards that Janine lives by, okay? So let me say this. Now, if my friend, because I have some friends that are little boy crazy, so if my friend is like, oh, they're cute, that's my boyfriend, I'm like, okay, like, is it your boyfriend in your head, or is it really, like, are you all really having a relationship? I'm not going for it's my boyfriend in my head. It's anybody's boyfriend, right? But if my friend is actively pursuing someone, whether it becomes something or not, I know that my friend has feelings for them. They're off limits to me. That's just how this works. Like, Nicole, if you come to me and say, hey, I think Adam is cute, I'm like, oh, okay, girl, Adam is super cute. But if Adam is cute and I just noticed that Adam is cute, Adam is yours, girl. He's off limits to me. Does that make sense?
Not really. And I say that because if somebody just mentioned Adam is cute, because you see that all the time, right? So y'all go to a party. And I know we don't party. I mean, we're older. We don't really party like that. But let's say you and a friend go to a party. She sees somebody that she thinks is attractive. You see him, you're like, yeah, he's okay. Y'all approach him, flirt a little bit, chit-chat it up a little bit, but he's interested in you. Does that mean that you can't entertain that? She called dibs.
I wouldn't entertain that. And to be very honest, it would depend on the friend, first of all, but I just wouldn't entertain it because I feel like it gets messy. Like if you and I are at a party and we meet a guy and I didn't notice the guy, or, the guy comes up to, the friend group and it's like, oh, that's, my friend's type, and it's somebody, he picks the wrong friend out of the group, I guess, then it's just like, it'll be other fish in the sea. I'm not willing to risk a friendship over a random guy because he picked the one that didn't want him. Like, it's not that interesting to me. Like, men are not that fascinating to me that I feel like that this is the last one. I have to catch a hold of this one at the potential expense of my friendship. I'm not interested. Hey, dude, it's nice that you're flirty. I'll flirt with you back, but this isn't going anywhere because really my friend over here is the one that likes you, not me.
Yeah, but I think that you could say, hey, my friend was interested in you. And he can say, well, yeah, but I'm not interested in her. I'm interested in you. And you can go back and say, hey, girl, this guy is interested in me. I mean, because my thing is, just because you think somebody's cute, if you've done nothing with them, you haven't exchanged a number, you haven't done anything, you mean to tell me that every time you say somebody's cute, I'm supposed to be like, oh, okay, so I can't date that person? It's almost like if you're walking down the street if I'm walking with Janine and we were single, everybody I saw was cute, I'd be like, okay, girl, he's cute. He's cute over here. So just in case, if that's your rule, I'm going to call dibs on all these people.
But here's the other thing, Nicole. I understand how ridiculous it sounds when you say it back to me. Yes, you're absolutely right. We're not calling dibs on every man that walks down the street to make sure that they're mine and I'm saving it for my friends, right? I'm saying that I would feel uncomfortable if my friend had verbally expressed to me interest in a guy that is now interested in me. I wouldn't be interested in him on the mere fact that, to be very honest with you, I don't trust women. So if I know that you're attracted to my husband, pause. So this relationship cannot go anywhere for me. So if I meet a guy, let's play the scenario out. I meet a guy. He's interested. My friend has already expressed to me that she's interested in him. I'm not going to be interested in that man because I know that my friend is interested and I know how catty we can be. And it's like, well, I can convince him to like me more. Not interested. I don't like that kind of unnecessary drama. So I would prefer, and God bless my husband because my husband's a cutie, but there are a lot of women that I know, and I know that you all don't think that I don't know that you like him, but I know. There are a lot of women who will make themselves prominent and available and suddenly in their space all of a sudden. And I know how women can be because we know.
Are those women your friends?
Nicole, let me tell you something. Friends are friends until they're not friends anymore. Does that make sense? It could be circumstances. It could be desperation. It could be, they feel like their biological clock is ticking. Women can get catty. We know this. Let's be honest with ourselves. And I'm not there for putting myself in that kind of of situation. No, I'm not calling, like you said, I'm not calling dibs on every man that walks down the street. However, if I know that this guy, my friend likes, and then all of a sudden he likes me, I'm cool. Maybe he just needs to stay in the pool of fish as opposed to either one of us dealing with him. Maybe that's the best option.
Yeah. But, this scenario with my friend is sort of weird because she said, well, just so you know, before me and you were friends, I was friends with him. And so he and I were friends before you and me were friends. And we actually kissed and flirted before me and you became friends. Now, for me, I'm like, why are you telling me that? To me, that's irrelevant. Because if that's the case, why would you ever become my friend? Just saying.
Right. And if she was your friend already, then why didn't she disclose that when you all first started dating?
Correct. I'm like, why am I finding out this after the fact? Like after he and I have broken up, gone our separate ways, everything else. Now, all of a sudden, you're telling me about your past entanglements?
So she then, I'm assuming, got into a relationship with the guy because she wants you to be in the wedding, right? Or she wanted you to be in the wedding?
No, she was throwing out a hypothetical.
Okay. So she got into a relationship with the guy and thought that they would potentially at some point get married.
No, this is the same conversation. After I told her, hey, you like it, I love it, I'm not going to stop love, but it's going to be awkward if we ever have to go in public or, double date. I would think that would be awkward. And she said, okay, well, would you feel comfortable if we happen to get married? Would you be comfortable enough to be in the wedding? This is all one conversation.
So a couple of things, Nicole. One, this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? So if you had known that she was attracted to him beforehand, would you have gotten into a relationship with him? Because clearly she was attracted to him before you all were in a relationship.
Right. If we had been friends before he and I were in a relationship and I knew that she was attracted to him, of course I would never have dated him. I would have never dated him because I don't date friends, exes, or booty calls or what have you. Like that's way too messy for me to get involved in.
I agree.
So I don't understand why the information even came out in general. Like I don't understand. Well, I do know how she probably was like, okay, now you're getting married. So now I know for real, y'all aren't going to get back together. So I'm going to throw it out there now. That's why I think it came out.
So I have a big question. After she did all of this and gave you all of this hypothetical and the feelings about this man, are they still together? Did they end up together? What happened?
I stopped being friends with her a couple of years ago. And so I know that after that, they weren't together. I know she tried to reach out to him a couple of times, even when she and I were still friends after that incident happened. But I don't know if he just wasn't interested. I don't know. And maybe now, because I haven't kept up with her, maybe now they are doing something. I know that there's not anything serious, but maybe they're still doing something. I don't know. I've heard from other people that she likes him because other people did not know we had that conversation, and people have reached out to me and said, hey, aren't you guys like really good friends? Yeah, no, we're not.
Got it. So here's my question though. So you know him. You were in a relationship with him for some years. So you know him. So do you think that there's even a possibility that this could be a thing?
Girl, no. No. I don't think, every man has a type, okay? And not even a type physically, but like in terms of personality. And I just don't think that she was his type, to be perfectly honest. I think that she is a very intelligent person and she can be very nice at times. But for me, it wasn't surprising that even after a couple years, nothing serious developed. Now, I could be wrong. And something very serious could have developed. Who knows? But I wanted your feedback.
Well, I'm with you. Shout out to you for not being friends with her anymore, even though I don't think that's the reason why you all are not friends. But I think that that's a good, clean friend cut. That's a good, clean friend cut. But yeah. I'm with you. I'm not for the messy dating your friend's ex. And really, I almost would rather you not say anything and just be like, oh, we fell in love. I don't know how this happened. It sounds really ridiculous, but don't take me through it twice. If you're asking me for my permission, you're not going to get it. So don't even bother asking. So to all of my friends that might want to date any of my exes, I have to chuckle because, okay. So to all of my friends that might want to date any of my exes, feel free to do it without checking with me first because you're not going to get my permission. Just might as well do it. Okay.
I wonder what our listeners would do. Let us know. Would you be okay with your friend dating an ex, especially if you're already married? So let's keep that in perspective. Like if you're already married, you're already with the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life. Would you be okay? Like maybe your ex just stumbled across the wrong one. Maybe you were the wrong one for your ex. Obviously, they're an ex. Would you be okay if your ex found love with one of your friends? Let us know.
Email us at, oh, that's deep, bwc@gmail.com, or inbox us on IG or Facebook. Oh, that's deep. BWC. Okay, speaking of, so can I tell my story? Here's my inbox story, right? So I have a friend that's not dating my ex per se. Well, I don't actually know. It's not per se dating my ex, but is intertwined with my ex in some sort of way. So, Nicole, I think you know this story already, but let me tell it again for the people that don't know the story. So I have a friend that I've known for, almost 20 years now. We are very different. We're from very different upbringings, very different backgrounds, very different parts of the United States. And it's fine. We are friends for a reason. And somewhere, with busy life, kind of like you and I, Nicole, we lost touch. And when we lost touch, we would keep in touch on, superficially on Facebook, like, hey, how you doing? Making sure that, everything is well. You don't need anything, so on and so forth. And we reconnected very, pretty rigorously, I would say. And when we reconnected, it was brought to my attention by this friend that she had been communicating with my ex for almost 10 years, for over 10 years, as a matter of fact. So when she told me, like I just told you all, if you're my friend and you want to date my ex, don't tell me. Like, it's fine. I don't want to know. So she told me, brought it to my attention. So I asked for the receipts. I was like, pull up the messages. I want to see them. I am just that kind of person. Shoot it to me straight, give me all of the information, and let me make my own decision. And I don't want you to give me your opinion, your explanation. Just give me the facts. So I read through the messages. So back in 2007, these messages began, and my ex reached out to her to say, basically to express all of his woes about me and how terrible I was and didn't pay him enough attention and blah, 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 blah. He's an ex for a reason. And she was there to comfort him and be his biggest cheerleader, I guess. Great. Because in 2007, we were then breaking up. So we had been on and again, off again. And, when a relationship is past its expiration date, you're very clear. So we were breaking up. So after that, they continue on with their conversation, blah, 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 blah. It's small talk. This person has kids. They get congratulated, so on and so forth. Back and forth. Well, the small talk over the years, now mind you, this is now years of conversation, over the years then turns into conversations about what women should be like based on what I am not, right? So my ex basically took all of his complaints about me and bottled them up and said, the perfect woman would be the opposite of this. Well, great. I'm not, like you said earlier, Nicole, I'm just not the one for you. And that's very clear. Please move on. I chuckle because I never in my life thought that I would be at this place to even tell a story like this, but here we are. So my friend was there to further support this conversation about what he felt like a woman should be. And the conversation somehow turned into them seeing each other, meeting up, and somehow becoming romantically connected. Well, we know now that there was a trip that was had for the friend to come to see. And I say come because my ex lives much closer to me than they live to my friend. So there was a trip that was had for my friend to come to see my ex, but it was never mentioned to me that my friend was within driving distance of my home to see my ex. She never said anything. I'm not that friend. If you're in my area, you don't have to see me, but I kind of feel like you should feel a little bit of obligation if you're coming to see my ex, but that's just my opinion. So I'm not sure what they've done. I'm not sure where they are in their relationship. I know that they don't live in the same state, but I'm friends with my friend that is now in some sort of intertwined relationship with my ex. Now, if that was your scenario, Nicole, what would you do?
Oh, hell no. So that would not be my friend. So let's start there. So it doesn't sound like she's your friend. It sounds like she's his friend, because why does she need to comfort him? Why is she spending more time talking to him? Why is she flying cross country to meet up with him? Why is she inboxing him? Why is he inboxing her? Why is he giving her any congratulatory remarks? Why is he still communicating after you said y'all been friends for 20 years and this is in 2007? Like, it's been 13 years. So why do you have this 13-year relationship with somebody that is supposedly not somebody you're involved with? I ain't buying it. I think something has happened. I'm assuming that this friend has not told you about all of these interactions and you found out after the fact, like you said. So you did not know
That's correct.
They had been communicating.
I did not know that they had been communicating until my friend and I reconnected.
Okay. So for the friend, so maybe it's that she did not think that y'all were friends anymore because you had not talked for an extended period of time and now you've reconnected. So now I want to know, okay, y'all reconnected, you and the friend, and she told you, hey, me and your ex have been talking off and on, but now what's happened? So now, are they still conversing? Question mark.
I have the answer. They are still communicating, but
okay,
I'm not, but let me give you a couple of details that I think that I left out. One, in 2007, my ex and I were breaking up. We were not in a relationship from the time that I can see that the communication started, that I'm aware
That's irrelevant.
of. Right.
That's irrelevant.
We were broken up. So that's number one. Number two, I'm not permitted to communicate with my ex. And number three, my friend and I reconnected within the last 2 years. So this has been going on for 13 years, as you said, but it was only within the last 2 years, only within the last year that she told me about it.
Okay. So basically she's been in communication with him for 13 years. The last 2 years, you guys have rekindled, but she talked to him a whole year without telling you anything. Why? Like, surely she felt guilty if she was talking to you for 2 years now, a whole year of which she was still talking to him without telling you. And now she's still talking to him. And you, for some reason, still call this girl your friend? We've got to make better friend choices, friend. I think you should release yourself of that friendship. I'm just saying.
I've been thinking about it heavily, and the reason why I'm thinking about it heavily is because, one, I don't really want to have the conversation of, well, what is this relationship actually like, right? So we're making the assumption based on the knowledge of my friend and the knowledge of my ex that there is something inappropriate going on. Now, do they have an inappropriate conversation going on? Possibly. Was there some visit had? Yes, we know that much. What happened in the visit? We don't know that. But does it matter? That's the question. And that's what I've been toying with. Does it matter what the visit is? Do I have proof? Do I even care that they're seeing each other? Because let me add a little piece to this. So my friend knew that I broke up with this person, right? And when the way that she broached the subject of me breaking up with this person, which is how she then further explained that she had been communicating with him, was that, how did I know when it was time to get out of the relationship? Because she is currently in a relationship, right? And she asked me specifically, how did I know when it was time to get out of the relationship? And so I felt like I was advising my friend on how you know it's time to get out of a relationship. Little did I know she was asking me because she was somehow intertangled with my ex. So I don't know. And here's the thing.
Grimy.
It is grimy, right? But I feel like the karma, this sounds very bad of me, and maybe we should just not be friends so that I can be a good Christian, right? So I feel like the karma that she would get from being in a relationship with my ex is far worse than anything that I could ever do to her.
I just feel like if you're going to remain friends with this person, then you have to figure out, like, what is that relationship status? What were you thinking conversing with him all these years? What happened when you flew down to meet him? Okay, so let's be clear. So if you're talking to somebody on the phone, flirting with somebody, you're in a relationship with another man, and you're going to fly down to meet the ex-boyfriend of one of your friends, and it's supposed to be casual and nothing's supposed to happen? Like, not even y'all going on a date, not even a kiss? Like, that wasn't a romantic visit?
But it's my ex.
That's what you're thinking. I don't believe it.
But how is that any different though, Nicole? It's my ex and I'm married. Like, according to what we just discussed with your scenario where your friend was trying to be with your ex and marry your ex, how was that any different? Like, honestly?
It's different because you just said your own rules. Your own rules were, if you are my friend, I don't want you dating any of my exes.
Well, that's me. I don't want you to tell me. Here's my thing. If you want to date my ex, feel free. They're my ex for a reason. That's just my opinion. I'm not going to date any of my friends' exes. While I would like my friends to abide by the same standards that I set myself to, I'm very well aware that that's not always the case. Everyone's standards aren't the same. Like, I'll give you an example. I have a girlfriend, Jenny. She was in my wedding, right? And she and I always say, I was actually telling her about this exact scenario because it's, been weighing heavily on my mind. I was telling her about this exact scenario. And at the end of it, I said, and Jenny is white, so for everyone to know. At the end of it, I said, and she's black, so she should know better. And Jenny texted me back and she said, I really appreciate the fact that you say that. And Jenny and I have this thing about white girl, girlfriend rules and black girlfriend rules. And it's just something that you learn to me. Like, and I can't say that everyone believes that, nor is it accurate. But I'm saying that the way that I was raised by my black mama One, don't take your man around your friends, and don't say too much about your man around your friends, because they're your friends until they're not your friends, like I said earlier. And two, your friends' exes are off limits. That's my standards. Everyone else's standards are not the same. So I really have been trying to evaluate the situation and evaluate the motive behind the situation and evaluate whether I really care or not, and whether it's worth losing a 20-year friendship over a dude that I've already deemed is irrelevant. I'm not blocking love like you not blocking love. I wouldn't do it, but if she wants to do it, enjoy him. Like, I hope you survive the relationship.
I hold my friends to the same standards that I am expected to live up to. If you are friends, y'all should be on the same page with those standards. So if your expectation is that, hey, I'm not going to date my friend's exes, but then you would be okay if they dated yours, like, that doesn't even make any sense.
I'm not saying I'm okay with it, Nicole. I'm saying I don't want to know about it. If that's what you want to do and that's the life that you live, enjoy.
But then she's lying to you. Then she's lying because you're going to bring up dating and men and love and just natural conversation. So you don't want to know about it, but otherwise she's lying to you. I feel like she's lied to you for a really long time. I don't think that is your friend. I think that, like I said, the last episode, COVID can bring out a lot of things, and it can make you really figure out which relationships are important and which ones are not. And perhaps this is one that we see during this quarantine that maybe that one's not as important. Maybe you need to let that one go, because if she thinks that she can get advice about how she should treat a relationship based on the relationship you had with your ex, knowing that she's talking to your ex and probably trying to get out of that relationship to go be with your ex, that don't make no sense. That's grimy. I don't like it. And how can you, let's say they actually do end up dating. And this is tumultuous relationship you had with your ex. How can you be friends with somebody and your relationship was so horrible? Like, how are you going to get past that?
And again, I've been toying with the situation and going back and forth with my head about whether I'm giving up a 20-year friendship for an ex that's not even worth mentioning. And that's really what it comes down to for me. Am I giving up a 20-year friendship for someone that I don't care about anymore? And that's the only struggle that I'm having. Now, the moral side for her, people are who they are. Again, I wouldn't do it, but I can't change another person. So, but let me add a little cherry on top of this story. So this person did not come to my wedding because the time that they were visiting my ex, I was getting married. So they were in town for my wedding, but they did not come to my wedding.
Ooh, child. It just keeps getting better.
So
even more reason
to let go of the
friendship. You keep saying this is a 20-year friendship. Are you sacrificing a 20-year friendship for because of an ex that you don't even care about? But I would argue that it's not a 20-year friendship. You hadn't talked to her for a really long time. So now you're talking about a 2-year friendship that has deception, lies of omission, because she didn't tell you that she had been in communication. And so you have been in a friendship with a liar for 2 years. That's not a 20-year friendship. It's a 2-year friendship. You didn't talk to her for a really long time and just rekindled 2 years.
Okay, you're right. I'm still going to think about it some more and pray on it a little bit more, because I just feel like that's throwing the female in the situation under the bus. I'm always going to root for the female in situations like this, I should say. But I don't know, for whatever, I tend to be a pretty decisive black and white kind of person, but for whatever reason, this particular situation is really, it really has me, I don't want to say mental turmoil, but I've really had to think this situation over a few times now.
Well, I'm going to pray for you, girl, because for me, it's funny because I think people pray for the same things over and over again when they really don't need to. And they'll be like, Lord, please give me a sign that this is not the person I'm supposed to be with, right? And I know this is not your situation, but just in general when it comes to dating, because I've done this too. Lord, give me a sign that I'm not supposed to be with that person, right? And it's usually you're praying because you have to make a tough decision because that person has done something to hurt you, right? And the Lord is probably thinking, didn't I just give you this sign? Okay, well, let me drop another. Then something else happens and you're still confused. You're like, Lord, give me another sign. Tell me if I'm supposed to be, is he supposed to be the one that I'm supposed to be with? And then you move on, you move forward, and then something even bigger happens. And then you're shocked and surprised. Then when you break up, you're like, I wish the Lord would have given me a sign earlier. What? He just gave you like 3 other signs before you broke up with them. That's all I'm going to say about that. But you keep on praying on that, girl.
I understand. God has given me plenty of signs. I will now take action. Thank you, Nicole.
Please. So, Janine, what have we learned this week?
In preparing for this week's episode, I actually looked up dating your friends' exes. Because look, I understand that while, I have a very firm belief of my friends' exes or interests are off limits, it's 2020 and everything seems to go these days. And people have very different views of what is on limits and off limits when it comes to their friends' exes. And then also people have very different views of what relationships actually look like and what's appropriate and what's inappropriate. So here's what I learned this week. I got this from Cosmo. Shout out to Cosmo. 7 crucial rules to dating your friend's ex. So there are rules to this, apparently. So let's learn. Rule number 1, don't gossip. So I guess you shouldn't talk about what's going on. Like I said, I don't want to know. Date my ex, don't tell me. Rule number 2, don't trash talk. Rule number 3, respect boundaries without making assumptions. Number 4, no comparisons. If you're dating your friend's ex, no comparisons. Rule number 5, don't be paranoid, which would be hard for me. So guess I can't do this. Rule number 6, don't pry into the friend's relationship. Rule number 7 and final rule, recognize that some exes really are just off limits. Those are the rules to dating your friend's ex.
Yeah. The fact that there are rules in place for this, and listen to the rules that you read out loud. I mean, it's hard to remain friends if you have to exclude all of those things in your relationship with your friend. So how can you remain friends?
As rule number 7 says, sometimes some exes are just off limits.
I also learned, according to an article in The Guardian, that about 56% of women, 50 to 56% of women have dated their friend's ex in some form or fashion. That's a high percentage.
So we're just passing it around. Yikes.
Just passing it around.
It
did not say slept with.
I understand.
It didn't say that.
I understand. But you don't have to sleep with someone to make it messy.
And it also didn't clarify whether they were friends when they dated. You happen to be married and then you meet somebody you click with and then you find out, oh, you used to date again. I mean, that kind of situation can happen. So
you're right. But here's the thing. I'm not interested. Let me tell you, if you don't learn anything else from today, Janine doesn't want to know. Don't tell me. I don't care. Like if y'all not, no, I don't want to know. I'm not interested. They're my ex for a reason. And to my husband, if you have not already disclosed all of the people that you have been entangled, whatever with by this point, then we need to have a conversation, sir.
Well, honestly, he might not remember, right? So I'm not saying he's not going to remember all of the sexual encounters. I mean, you remember those. But like if it's somebody that you dated briefly or you may have kissed or you went out on a date with, like, I don't know if I remember every single person that I've like exchanged numbers with or used to converse with on the phone or may have been in a relationship that was casual, like non-sexual. Like, I don't remember all of them. And not saying I had a lot of dates, but I may not remember all of them. So just saying.
That's fair. But seeing as though my husband is our producer, I'm sure he's going to cut this whole thing out.
Okay. So our motivational moment for the week. You don't need love from someone else to validate who you are. Love yourself first. Set standards and expectations for yourself so your significant other can know how to love you.
Amen.
Until we meet again.
Pray, work, slay.
And show off your melanated excellence.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, That's Deep. Black Women Conversations is produced and hosted by Nicole Lee Plenty and Janine Brunson Johnson. Executive producer Ken Johnson. Find Oh, That's Deep Black Women Conversations on Facebook and IG at Oh, That's Deep BWC. Oh, That's Deep Black Women Conversations is a 5 Times Media production.